people of Ghana, it's a Nigerian pleasure bringing you political news in our channel Akamati. A controversial journalist, Paul Adum of Good Evening Ghana, has actually recommended and praised Dr. Bawumia for being the first person to bring the policies that were just be used by the Western government. Please, Reg.
Yes, President. I covered the NPP presidential primaries in 1998. I covered election 2000. I covered the NDC contest for election 2004, the one between Mills and Kwesi Botwe. I covered election 2004, 2008, 12, 16, 20. I have never seen a presidential candidate, whether in opposition or in government, focusing his campaign to the people about policy initiatives and policies that have been achieved. I also covered the UK election in 2001 for Tony Blair, and I covered also the UK election in 2019. You will find in those places that they were always articulating policy, what can be done, what can be solved. You will find here in all of those historical elections that we were not doing that until Mahama Bawumia arrived on the scene. Mr. Vice President, whatever happens in December, you have changed the politics of Ghana and Africa for a long time to come. I have nothing more useful to add except that God bless you.
Thank you, Paul.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
God bless Alhaji Bawumia. God bless Alhaji Bawumia. Now they should tell me that what I said is untrue. I mean, I'm waiting for it. What did I say that's untrue? This morning, or was it yesterday morning? I think yesterday in the morning, the guy in the black spectacles in the early morning, I don't understand him. I think that, you know, sometimes we're in the same job. You're a footballer, another person's a footballer. You're a journalist, somebody's a journalist. Or I don't even call myself it. I'm a news reporter, okay? News reporter. And I do news reports. So I go to Bawumia's event, I report. I've been doing that for a long time. I've done it for Radio Gold, I've done it for Joy FM, I've done it for Choice FM, I've done it for City FM.
Now you know for the record that Dr. Bawumia has actually changed the perception of politics in Ghana and Africa as a whole.
Metro TV, reporting news and creating documentaries about news. That's what I do. If you can't do it that way, you can learn how to do it. If you don't want to learn how to do it, you don't have to be concerned negatively that because people are saying Paul Adomatri is something, I have to come and say that he's not that something. Otherwise, when they say he's something, it makes it look like he's better than me and I don't want him to. If you want to be better, just do your work. Just do it. People will see it. Here's this guy. I don't know whether he's done a news report before. I don't know whether he's actually done a news report before. Go to the assignment, bring the news report to the newsroom and do it. Whether he has any documentary to his name, whether he has any news documentary. That's what we do as journalists. We write reports and all of that. Anyway, so somehow he wanted to participate in what happened at the Bawumia event because of the trends that was going on. Then he picks himself onto his television and radio station. And then he says things that I didn't say. And then says that I'm lying. Because he doesn't understand how a journalist can have such rich experience and it's still normal. Because maybe if he had that rich experience, he would probably walk on everybody's shoulders. So he doesn't understand that you can have rich experience and still be adept at the work. The work is most important. It's not about saying anything. So when you say you've covered elections from 98, he thinks that is a lie because he thinks it's not possible. Have a look at what he said.
UK elections time na 1991 UK for 2 abanu we dim fiesa say so on fiesa cause also only 50 it take 1991 92 93 94 95 96 1991 ko abesi ne how many years but you calculation no mami. When you follow a liar you become a liar. Principle of 2. 1991 ABC 2024 33 years for what is only 50. Now 33 years, you know, when you take it, if you answer Paul Admoch 50, 33 years. What is 33 feet 50 more akasa? What is 30 feet 50 more akasa 20? We need 3 feet more akasa 17. I'm so catch him sir. Or starting Metro TV no 17 years. You see, when you follow a liar, the principle of 2, you become a liar. When you follow a corrupt person, you become corrupt. You see, it's a baby. That guy is a liar.
Did I say I covered elections in 1991? I mean, a very cursory appreciation will show you that there was no election in UK in 1991. What is wrong with him? There was no election in UK in 1991. I'll show you what I said.
Then again, Paul has actually faulted Captain Smart for calling him a liar when he had never said anything related to anchoring the election in 1991. And he has actually shown people the evidence of what and all the things he said, calling out Captain Smart to make sure he apologizes for calling him a liar.
I said 2001 and I mentioned Tony Blair. There was no Tony Blair in 1991. 1991, British Prime Minister was Margaret Thatcher. There was no election in 1991. There was an election in UK in 1992. It was won by John Major. Tell him that there was no election in just a Google would have showed him that there was no election in UK in 1991. And I didn't say 1991. I said 2001. And I mentioned Tony Blair. Just even listening, they can't listen. Just listen to it, he can't listen. And then he says, what? It's a lie? This is the photograph, is here. Please, play my
I also covered the UK election in 2001 for Tony Blair. And I covered also the UK election in 2019. You will find in those places that they were always articulating policy. What can be done? What can be solved?
I covered elections in UK in 2001. 2001. Then he says, I said 91. And then 91, there was no Metro TV. There was no Joe FM. There was no private radio. There was nothing. But I don't know. I'm not sure how they look at it. Play his sound again and go and tell him tomorrow morning that, hey, chief. But all the people in his studio, nobody could tell him that, look at the guy's video. He didn't say that. He didn't say 91. Nobody could tell him that. I mean, if you can't do the work, do your own and let us do our own. Don't be in a hurry to come and do some of our work or to denigrate from our work, because we don't do the things you do. We don't sit down and insult people. We do well researched. So when I come and say something, it is correct. It's not wrong. So don't sit in your studio and try and make it wrong and only expose your ignorance and your lack of preparation before coming to a story. When you're a news reporter, you are trained that you have to be prepared before you come to a story. You don't come to a story with lack of preparation. So when the man says 2001, you say he said 91. Look, then go and tell him tomorrow morning. And these are the things he does, and then Kojonanka says he's suspended. These are the things he does. Play the man again. Play Captain Smart again.
Papa bi okrema oye central na me pese na buru di oye trofo che obi a osere okover UK elections obua time na 1991 UK for two abanu we di mfisa say o mfisa cause also on 50 it take 1991 92 93 94 95 96 1991 ko abesi nne how many years but you make calculation no mami. When you follow a liar, you become a liar. Principle of 2. 1991. ABC 2024. 33 years. Paul Adwach is only 50. Now, 33 years, you know, when you take it, if young person Paul Adwach is 50. 33 years. What is 33 50 Mugwe
I also covered the UK election in 2001 for Tony Blair, and I covered also the UK election in 2019.
Now, this issue about covering the UK elections, I had an interview in Good Evening Ghana some time back. Okay, first of all, show the photograph of myself and David.
So many other things have come out to react on Captain Smart's speech, calling out Kolabumoche a liar. And people have already come out to say that he is actually a disgrace to Ghana.
With Lamy. This is 2001 in covering the UK elections. I was detailed to be at a constituency called Tottenham Hill constituency, just next to Enfield Southgate. This is myself and David Lammy. David Lammy was the Labour parliamentary candidate for the constituency, and this I was deployed there because this is a constituency that has Ghanaians and Jamaicans. So forget my big suit and all that. This is me in 2001 covering the UK election in 2001 for the BBC, and that's David Lammy. David Lammy later became a minister for education under Gordon Brown, and he visited Ghana. Of course, he had forgotten about this incident. So he visited Ghana, and the British High Commission thought he should come and have an interview on Good Evening Ghana. Whilst we were having an interview on Good Evening Ghana, I reminded him that I had covered the UK election with him in 2001 when he was running for the first time as parliamentary candidate for Labour. This is that experience back at Good Evening Ghana sometime in 2010. Have a look.
We have David Lammy. David Lammy is Member of Parliament, MP. As they say in UK, Right Honourable David Lammy is MP for Tottenham. And Tottenham, those of you who've been to London so many times know that there's a big community that people in Ghana have interest. So I'll be talking to David Lammy tonight about Tottenham and about why he's in Ghana. He's the minister, if you like. We say minister in Ghana. He's the minister responsible for higher education in the United Kingdom. And he's been here on some official assignments. He's been to the University of Ghana, and he's been having some discussions with the Ministry of Education. So I'll let him talk about that. Salami, welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. You look very different from 9 years ago when I saw you. And I'd like viewers to see this. Can we see the photograph? You know, I was in London at that time, working for the BBC, and David was competing for the Tottenham seat. He was already in then. He was competing for another term, and I encountered him. So we had a discussion. Well, the scan it should be coming up now. The photographs of David and I. Can you put it on as soon as you can, please? Anyway, David, welcome to Ghana. What brings you to Ghana, by the way?
Well, you're right. Things have changed.
Okay, that's it. That's so it's on your left is Paul Adumoche, and on your right is David Lammy, MP Tottenham. Wow. That's I was picking an interview with him. There you see it again. David and I, back in the day. Well, he was higher than I am, and he's still higher, actually. He's in the Commons. So that's David Lammy. He's done very well. He's represented black people effectively. If you look at his website, you see what he's doing for the community, for football people, for schools, and he has a passion for higher education. He had a passion for culture. He did a lot with culture under Tony Blair's administration. So that's David Lammy and I back in the day. It's good to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Great to be here.
What are you doing in Ghana?
Well, I'm in Ghana because Ghana is such an important country. It's an important country, of course, in relation to Tottenham, and I am so grateful.
So please, tomorrow morning, tell Opana that I really did cover the elections in UK in 2001. And in Ghana, I didn't say 1992. I said 1998, the MPP contest. And I've covered 98 election in MPP, 2000, the national election, 2001, the UK election, 2002, the internal NDC contest, 2004, the presidential election, 2010, the contest between Professor Mills, Spielgaber, and Ediana, and Akufo-Addo and Alan Martin, 2012 election, 2016, 20 now, and then 24 coming. I have never seen an African politician that articulated policy until Mahama Bawumia came. And whatever happens in December, God will bless Mahama Bawumia because he has given us a standard for the young people to hold the politicians of tomorrow onto a standard. That's the standard. And that's the kind of journalism they do. See?
Please do well to like, comment, follow. Put on notification bell so you get all our news one by one. Thanks, my people. Yeah.